I was part of the people that faced tank. They kicked me out of the university. They said, "We're going back to your father's house. You don't know book." And I understand it. Why will I keep it in my head and carry it back to my house? No. That's where madness used to start from. But that's by the way. So anytime I want to enter exam, I used to carry my head like this because I used to walk like I don't want what I've put inside to go and pour away. If you understand what I mean. Arrange it very well and carry my head like that, enter into the exam, pour it and come out. Yes, that's how I read. Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Deborah. If you are new here on this channel, welcome. I really appreciate you clicking on this video. So today I'll be discussing with you how to write and to read for exams. As we all know, university can be so tiring when you don't know what you want to do, when you don't know where to turn to. Like just coming fresh out of the secondary school, going into the university is a whole lot of things, especially here in Nigeria. So I'll be discussing with you how to write your exam effectively and how to read for them. So I'll be sharing my story on how I got kicked out of the university. Yes, I got kicked out of the university. I'm in my second university now, but I'll be sharing with you story of how I got kicked out, what caused it, and how I've been able to prevent those in my new school. So I would like for you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and if you have, thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. Okay, so I got admitted into the University of Ilorin in 2014, and it was a very brilliant thing. Like it was like the real deed in my family then, because I'm the first of 4 girls, so it was like mission accomplished for my parents. So when I gained admission, it was a very joyous occasion, and I went to school and all of that, but it was a lot to take in, because coming from secondary school where you have teachers that will tell you, oh, read this part, read this, read that, and all of that, and you are going into a whole new environment where there is nobody to tell you what to do and how to do it. Yeah, it is very difficult to assimilate and to adapt into that whole new setting for me. So all of those contributed into unilorin kicking me out. So if you attend unilorin, or you have somebody that attend unilorin, or you have heard of it, I was part of the people that faced tank. They kicked me out of the university. They said, "We're going back to your father's house. You don't know book." But it is not a very funny matter when it happened, but I've gotten over it in the journey. So when I got into the University of Ilorin, it was a whole different environment for me. I have issue adapting to that new environment because I know they read book. From secondary school, I don't read. Even my mom used to complain about that Deborah, you don't read your books. Deborah, you don't do this. Deborah, you don't do that. I'm never like, please, I don't need to read. You know, I'm a fast learner, so I grab things easily. But that did not work for me in the university. It was a whole lot of ball game entirely. So I got kicked out after my second year. I was sent back into my father's house. I know it is really funny now talking about it, but then it was not a funny experience. Okay, so after I gained admission, it was so difficult for me to adapt, and I have issues with reading and all of that to understand. You know, some of these lecturers, they just come in and they tell you that read this, read that, we meet in the exam hall, and that's it. And you're just wondering like, what is this what I came here to do? There are some times that you enter the lecture hall and the lecturer will not come on time. They come 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late, and it's so difficult to understand what they are talking about. Okay, so when I wrote my first semester exams, guys, I won't lie to you, the exam was worse. The result was the worst result I have ever had in my life. You will see a lot of E's and D's and F's, and by the time I calculated my GPA, because I don't have a cumulative GPA yet. So by the time I calculated my GPA, it was not even up to 1.5. And 1.5 is the cutoff for University of Ilorin, as every other person knows. If you're an aspirant or you're in Federal University, in University of Ilorin, you will understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so then when I wrote my second semester exams, guys, I will not lie, the exam was bad. It was so bad. It was so difficult for me to adapt to the new system. So I'll be sharing with you today how to read and write for your exam, because I'll be using this new system in my new university and it has been helping me a lot. I'm not a first class student, but I'm somewhere close to first class. So if you know, you know, if you're a university student, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so my first point is study yourself. Study yourself to understand how you read and understand what you read. Do you get what I just said? Study yourself to understand how you read and how you understand to read. Okay, so the first thing is me, I read a lot, like I assimilate more when I just wake up. Like maybe when I sleep and I wake up around 3, 4 to read, I understand more then than when I read in the afternoon or when I read in the night. So it has actually helped me to understand that, okay, when I read in the afternoon, I understand more better than when I read in the night. So I've learned to actually read in the morning, like early hours of the morning when I just wake up and my brain is so settled. So I read then and I understand better. So the first point I'll be saying, the first point I've said now is study yourself. Understand yourself. How do I read? How do I understand? You can study this by trying the different method. Okay, try to read in the afternoon, try to read in the night, try to read in the morning, wake up to read. Then you understand that, okay, I think I assimilate more when I do this, I assimilate more when I do that. My second point is acronyms. You know, when you use letters to represent terms in your notes, do you, like, maybe there is characteristics and all of those things, you use those terms to represent, use those letters to represent the terms. How do I say it? Okay, maybe when they give you an exam, you have like characteristic of this in your notes, functions of this in your notes and all of that, and you put something like p raised to power 2. So you understand that pre maybe is for principal and another p is for popular. Do you get, like, you use like letters to, so that you can be able to understand. If they tell you that 5 characteristics, so okay, I'm a theater and media arts student and they tell me that 5 characteristics of dance, okay, I understand that dance is a rhythm, dance is movement, so I use M to represent movement, then I use R to represent rhythm, then maybe I use Mr. So when I get to the example and I remember, okay, Mr. M is for movement, R is for reading. The university notes and lectures are so wide that you may not be able to cover everything if you are reading, like maybe you are cramming or anything. Do you get? So but when you use acrimony, it helps a lot because you understand, okay, I used meet, I used Mr. raised to power 2 for this, then you understand, okay, M is for this, R is for that, then you'll be able to gather your points and explain under what you have just written about. Do you get? If that makes sense to you. My next point is consult past questions. You want to consult past questions to understand how your lecturers set their questions, what to expect, the kind of question that you set in an exam. So when you get past questions, that is when you'll be able to understand, okay, this is so thing that they're asking about, this is what they asked the previous set, then it will help you to read around what you see, because notes are always plenty. There are a lot of PDFs. You see some PDFs 1,000 pages, you see some PDFs 6,000 pages. Do you want to read all of that and put them in your head? Anyway, if you're a genius, maybe you can do it. But if you're okay, so I have some past questions here that I would like to read out to you for you to understand what I mean by consult past questions. Mention a program format that suits you, and prepare a 5-minute script for presentation on radio and television. That is a past question that previous sets have used. Do you get? So when you read questions like this, you understand that, okay, this is how they set these questions. Okay, this is how I should prepare for this exam. Do you get what I mean? Like you try to gather as much past questions as you can, then you compare them yearly, like how they were used year in, year out, for you to understand what to expect. Okay, so my fourth point is study your lecturer and how they want their questions to be answered. You are wondering, how do I study my lecturers? You can ask your seniors, the people that are in the higher level. Then you understand how that particular lecturer wants the questions to be answered. There are some lecturers that don't like story. They just want you to go straight to the point. And there are some that they like you to quote different kind of year. They want you to go 1990, 1980s and all of that. Imagine giving that kind of lecturer a very simple, like something simple in your question as answer sheet. What will he give you? F, because that is not what he was expecting. Okay, so I carried out a survey amidst my friends. I sent out a WhatsApp broadcast to ask people. So I didn't just come here to tell you this is what I do and all of that. I wanted to ask for other people's opinion on what they do and how they read. So most of them actually said you need to study your lecturer, because they have expectation of you. They have what they are expecting you to do. So until you study them to understand how they want you to answer questions, please, you might be trending on the wrong path. Because then I didn't even know my lecturer, so I don't even know how they ask questions and what they ask and how to even answer them. So you need to study your lecturer to understand how they want you to answer their question. It is very important. Okay, so my fifth point is the type of your exam. Whether you are writing a CBT exam or a written exam, you are going to have to read for it differently. Because when you write CBT exams are always like, they go like the whole of, maybe they give you 1,000 pages PDF. They can go into that 1,000 pages and pick questions from different corners of that PDF. Do you get what I mean? They can pick questions from anywhere. So you need to read like broadly. So you don't necessarily have to like put everything on your head. Just have an idea of what they're talking about. So when they ask you questions and they give you options, you'll be able to know which of them is actually the answer. When you are reading for theory, when you're reading for a written exam, you need to read like more, how do I say it, in a more, I don't understand. What topic is and okay, when you're reading for a written exam, you need to read more particularly on a particular topic. You study that particular topic in depth of it, so that when they ask you that question, you'll be able to answer in depth. So I'll be telling you now how to answer exam questions. How you answer your exam questions is very important, because you have prepared for your exam very well. So you need to know how to answer your exam questions. Okay, so when you are answering your exam questions, you want to study your lecturers. Do you get me? Like when you study your lecturers, you know how they want you to answer those exam questions, which has also influenced you on how to read. Do you get? When you read for exam, you read because you already know how they want their answers, their questions to be answered. You read because you already know how they want their questions to be answered. So when you read maybe like you read broadly or you read little. You know, when you know your lecturer that wants you to write bulky, so you know you need to read. And you know those lecturers that want you to write like minimal, so you read in the minimal, so you know the point, you know the exact point that they want you to write on, then you read on it. If you get what I mean. If you get it. If you don't get it, forget about it. My next point is always answer the question you know first. Always answer the question you know first, because when you don't answer the question you know first and you are there cracking your head on the one that you don't know, you might end up forgetting that particular one that you know. So you need to answer that question that you know first. So anytime I want to enter exam, I used to carry my head like this, because I used to walk like I don't want what I've put inside to go and pour away. If you understand what I mean. Because when you are going into the exam hall, you don't want any distraction. When I'm going to the exam hall, I'm always so quiet and sober, because I'm trying to rehearse and do a lot of things in my head, trying to gather all those things that I've read, that I've scattered everywhere. I'm trying to coordinate them and how to answer them. Like when they ask me the question, I'm trying to organize those things in my head. So you don't want to talk to me by that time. And when I'm going inside, because I used to read just to pass, I don't read to know, because in university, I would not lie to you, that is what I do. I read to pass, I don't read to know. When I want to read to know, I know how to read. But when I'm reading for exam, I am reading to pass. So I will read everything, pack it here, arrange it very well, and carry my head like that, enter into the exam hall, pour it, and come out. Yes, that's how I read. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have watched this video to this point, thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, like I said, I carried out a survey, yes, with fellow undergraduates like me, too, because I don't just want to come here and rant and give you people pointless things. So I carried out a survey, and most of them actually advise that you write comprehensively. What do they mean by that? You let your answer have a beginning, a middle, and end. If they ask you what is media in a university, you don't tell them media is so and so, and you put full stop, and you go and submit. You want to have 0. Yes, you want to have 0, because if you write exam like that, no, you're not going anywhere. So when they ask you what is media in the university, you want to give them the definition of media, a background history of media. Do you understand me? They're asking you everything that is related to media, function, characteristics, types, everything. You may now decide to write minimal or comprehensive, like largely, depending on the type of lecturer that you're dealing with. If you have a type of lecturer that like you to go straight to the point, you can like list the function, list the characteristic, list the type, and all of those things. But if you have a lecturer that wants you to write comprehensively, then you list and explain everything. Do you understand me? So depending on the type of lecturer will help you to, like when you study your lecturer, it will help you to know what to expect and how to do it. And my last point, my bonus point, is for you to pray. Yes, pray before you write your exam and pray after you write your exam. You understand? Pray before you read and pray after you have read. Because, see, I don't want to go into a lot of spiritual matters. You need to pray. You need to pray. Me, personally, what I do is I fast. During my exam period, I fast. So when I'm going to the exam one, I know my exam is like evening, maybe like 3 to 6. I eat before I go, because I don't want to go and faint, or my eyes will not go and be turning me inside the exam or after I've read. No, I will eat before I go to the exam, but I will read and pray. Read and pray. You want to combine the two together. Do you get? Thank you very much. Thank you. Pray. And when I go to write my exam, when I go like into the exam hall, everything that I've read, I make sure that I use them effectively. Like I've read functions, I've read characteristics, I've read all of these things, but they did not ask for it in the exam. But they asked me, what is media? Why won't I put those things that I've read just for you to know that yes, I read this thing and I understand it? Why will I keep it in my head and carry it back to my house? No. That's where madness used to start from. But that's by the way. The point I'm trying to explain to you is pray. I think I'm ranting, I'm deviating from the purpose of this video. Pray before your exam, pray after your exam, pray while you read, pray after you have read. Pray like you have not read, pray like you have read. What? I'm talking rubbish. But you need to pray about your exams. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I want you to give this video a thumbs up. I want you to like, comment on this video, and I want you to also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just press the subscribe button. You know they bite, you know they pinch, you know they do person anything. Just press it. Press that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.